Creepy and unsettling encounters during a trip to the Amazons. In April 2019, I was an exchange student in South America. I went on a trip to the Amazon with a group of other exchange students. While many strange things happened, I want to focus on two that were particularly relevant to this sub and unsettling. At the time, I was 18 years old, tall, thin, and white with blue eyes, mentioned just because I always stood out as a tourist. I was fluent in Spanish, allowing me to talk to locals without misunderstandings. The first incident occurred on our first night and morning in the Colombian or Brazilian town of Leticia. We were all staying in a hotel. It had a strange vibe, and I didn't feel comfortable, neither did my friends. The hotel staff were staring at us like creeps, which made it even more scary. During breakfast, I overheard other exchange students discussing a missing phone. I offered to help locate it using the Find My iPhone app, and we were able to track it down to a sketchy part of town. The police accompanied us to the location, and we found the house where the phone was. The family denied involvement, but their behavior and the fact that the phone signal was coming from their place made it clear to us that they had probably stolen it. They came out with knives and machetes, yelling and staring at us. It was intense. I felt a shiver down my spine, and I had a very strong gut feeling that we needed to leave. We told the police to go back and not do anything about the phone because we were worried about our safety and the phone wasn't worth it. When we came back to the hotel, the police wanted to see if there were any cameras pointed at the door of the room from the outside or the inside. The scary part is that they had cameras from the inside and outside. Only these two cameras were mysteriously turned off for 2 hours that night. I also know about another incident and found out why the cameras were turned off by someone from the hotel staff. I don't feel comfortable sharing that, as it involved one of my friends. It was very serious, and some legal actions were taken. One of our other stops was in a small village in Peru's part of the Amazon. I don't remember the town's name, but it had around 150 people. The village was built on pillars above the water as the river Amazon was overflowing or something. After we arrived and settled in at the local hotel, we were taken to a stage where we were introduced to the region's indigenous dances, songs, and culture. After the performance, the group returned to the hotel, but I decided to stay back and talk to some of the locals. I wanted to see an anaconda, very dumb and touristy, I know. Someone had told me this was a good time to see them hunt. I started talking to a local guy, and he claimed he couldn't show me where to see a live anaconda, but offered to show me a picture of one he had taken a few days ago on his phone. Despite what my parents always taught me about going to strangers' houses, I foolishly decided to follow him to his remote, isolated home deeper in the jungle. As we walked, I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease and danger lurking around every corner. When we arrived, he instructed me to wait in the living room while he searched for his phone. But as I stood alone in the dimly lit room, my gut told me something was wrong. I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was in grave danger. After what felt like an eternity, he returned and said he couldn't find his phone. He asked me to come back the next day, but I knew I had to get out of there as soon as possible. I thanked him and left, but my heart was pounding with fear and adrenaline. When I returned to the hotel and told my friends what had happened, they were horrified and couldn't believe I had put myself in such a dangerous situation. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something terrible could have happened if I had stayed any longer. Looking back, I realized that the encounter was bizarre even if he was truly just a kind person, but I can't shake off the feeling that something could have happened to me. It scares me to think about how gullible I was. Even though I consider myself rational and sometimes even paranoid, I didn't listen to my instincts and put myself in danger.